Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Kimbo's Comfort Kitchen. And today I have a very special guest, Norah at Norah.ca. She's a phenomenal artist, I have to tell you. But today we're going to be talking about a special recipe, and here we are in downtown Vancouver.
And it's a beautiful day.
All right, so Norah, what are you going to show us today? And tell us a bit about the history.
Today I'm going to share my favorite recipe. It's sour cherry strudel. My dear mother-in-law taught me this recipe. She's from Romania, and sadly she passed away during COVID. But I loved her so much. I still love her, and I would love to share this sour cherry strudel with you. And over the last few months, I've been taking cooking lessons with Kim, and he's been showing me all these details, and this is something that I can share with him and you. So with the sour cherry strudel, you can actually make it with apples as well. So you just take apples and you peel the outer skin, and then you grate them. You put a little bit of sugar to taste, a little bit of cinnamon to taste, and a dash of lemon, and that's your mixture. So I have this special sour cherry syrup and cherries that we picked the other day and canned, but you don't need to have that. You can also do it with apples.
Thank you, darling. You know what? I'm so flattered that she's going to share this with us because it's obviously very heartfelt. So we've had a couple of cocktails. We're going to have some more cocktails, and then we're going to get back into the kitchen, okay? And we'll see how this turns out. Yay. Okay, let me get this straight. It's just sour cherries and puff pastry.
That's right, just 2 ingredients.
That's the whole thing.
Yes.
Well, how exactly do I make the sour cherries?
I will reveal that to you.
All right. And once you reveal it, then I'm going to show everybody how you make the sour cherries. And then we'll go on to the next step. All right, so as promised, here are the ingredients for the sour cherry jam recipe. Sugar, and I bought this at our local market. Now, the original recipe that you saw had fresh sour cherries, but we don't have any right now, so we're going to use these, and let's get going. All right, so I have added to 580 grams of sour cherries, including the liquid in the jar. I added 200 grams of sugar, and I'm going to let this sit for an hour. Now, 2 things. One, a lot of recipes call for a 1-to-2 ratio. I did slightly less than that. And the other one is they call for like 2 hours of resting in sugar. I'm not doing that. We're going to see how that turns out. Okay, this has been an hour with just sitting in the sugar with the cherries. And I have to be honest, a lot of recipes are saying like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and all the rest of it. But I'm not going to do that. I've done an hour now with the sugar resting in the cherries. And I'm now heating it up, and we're going to go from there. I don't think it's that efficacious to do another hour or so of sugar resting, as they call it. All right, this is almost like doing a cranberry jam. So I'm going to pull the cherries out. There we go. Put them aside. And I'm going to allow this syrup, or simple syrup, to reduce probably for the next 20 minutes. We'll get back to you. Okay, so all told, this is about 30 minutes in the reduction. And I'm putting the cherries in now. Essentially, we're making a jam. That's what it boils down to. So I'm going to crush these a bit We do want some texture, but not a ton. There we go. And I will let this simmer for a little bit longer, and I'll tell you how much as we go along, because I don't even really know how long this is going to be until I get the consistency I want. So hang in there. Okay, so being the impatient person I am, we've done this reduction. It tastes amazing, but I really don't want to spend the next half hour or hour thickening this. So I'm adding cornstarch. I know it's a cheat, but that's what I'm doing. I'm going to add the cornstarch. We should start to see the... Now, when you're adding cornstarch, make sure that it's at temp, because if you add cornstarch when it's at low temp, it doesn't really work that well. You start to see it thicken almost right away. And this is about 12 grams of cornstarch. And make sure you add the water first. Otherwise it just goes lumpy. So this is going to be the jam, or the strudel. The really nice strudel that we have made here. All right, and then let's get back to the main event, okay? But now you know how to make this jam. All right, Norah, you've got one shot to do this. So let's go. Let's see what happens.
Let's do this.
Make the magic.
So basically, you just take a half of the puff pastry and put it on some parchment with some flour. That is so it doesn't stick. And then you roll it out. And you don't want to roll too much because you don't want the pastry to become tough. So you roll outwards.
So you don't want to work it.
And you want it to be a rectangle. And you want it to be about a 1/4 inch
In thickness?
in thickness.
Okay.
One more. Oh, we got the perfect size. Then we take our sour cherries, which have been strained. And if you're doing this with apples, you definitely want to strain the apple mixture.
Gotcha.
And what I do is I just pour the mixture out. You can also get canned sour cherries, but make sure you strain it. You don't want too much liquid. There we go.
Liquid is the enemy.
Yes, and then you form it with your hands. And what I have found is that you want a thin layer, not a thick layer of cherries, because the joy is also in the puff pastry. So then you make a little bed and you do it up as best you can. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Just kind of fold it in, and fold it in here. And then you roll this baby over, and look how pretty it is.
It looks perfect.
Yes. Well, the beauty is in the imperfection. Then I take, there's actually 3 ingredients. I take egg white, and I just brush it so that when it is done, it is golden. If you forget this step, or you miss it, or you don't do it, the puff pastry turns out fine, it just doesn't look as golden.
Doesn't have that sheen.
Yes, and because I'm an artist, I'm all about the color.
Of course you are.
So there we go. And then I take a beautiful knife, and I'll just take this knife, and I make these slices so that the steam can escape.
And that's it?
That's it.
Now we're going to transfer it to a pan. Okay.
We've transferred it to the pan, and it was super easy because it was on parchment. We just had to pick up the parchment and slip that pan under. And then I just kind of move it to the center because I'm visually, like, I love it to be just that way.
Perfect.
Then all you have to do is you put it in the oven at 400 Fahrenheit for about 18 to 20 minutes, and you keep an eye on it until it gets golden, and that is it.
Wow.
You can't get simpler than this.
It's pretty beautiful.
The strudel is done. We are taking it out, and look at how beautiful that is.
Wow.
It's so golden, and it's golden because of that egg wash.
Gotcha.
So we're gonna leave it here. We're gonna let it cool, and then we are going to have it after dinner.
Yeah, baby.
And in the meantime, we're gonna drink quite a bit of wine.
Yeah, we'll do that. Sounds good. Be back at ya. I
am so happy on how this sour cherry strudel turned out. I always decorate my sour cherry strudels with flowers and mint leaves because it looks so pretty. It reminds me of my dear mother-in-law, and my husband is always so happy when I make it. So let me cut into it, and I will show you how easy it cuts. Oh, there we go. I'm gonna turn it around so you can see how beautiful it is.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
You can see the sour cherries.
Yeah.
And it is so easy to make. Whether you make it with sour cherries or you make it with apples. So there you have it, Kim.
Norah, thank you so much for sharing with us. And as I said before, I mean, she's an amazing artist. Mm-hmm. Okay. Just check her out at norah.ca and kimballscomfortkitchen.com. Yay. Ciao.